Starting another brand new hour and a brand new week of the Steve Gruber Show, coming to you live from Studio G in the heart of America. I'm Steve Gruber, fighting for you from the foxhole. Look, I'm willing to tell you the truth when others won't. I'm going to be brutally honest, and it could hurt a bit, but you might learn something. Here are the three big stories you need to know for this hour, America. Number one, iconic Joshua trees are protected in California, as they should be, but not when they get in the way of solar farms. And now they're being leveled. This is woke progress, I'm told. Number two, Hunter Biden will be in court for the beginning of his felony gun possession trial today, which is why the left pushed so hard to get a bogus case against Donald Trump pushed through, so both could be convicted felons or could be called such. And number three, be careful, my Democrat friends, be careful what you wish for as you celebrate this Pyrrhic victory. Again, I remind you to please remember to be careful what you wish for. You dreamed of convicting Donald Trump, and you got 34 felony convictions. That's right, you scored 34 on 45, but remember, when Republicans celebrated the impeachment of Bill Clinton, do you remember that? But America rejected the whole thing as a politically motivated effort. Well, it seems on balance, that's exactly how Americans are seeing this effort, as a partisan political attack, and overall it is being rejected, which brings me to the politics of vengeance. And the end result this November, so far the polling has been mixed, we'll say. Both sides claiming the 34 felony convictions were a win for their side. Republicans point to nearly $55 million raised by the Trump campaign in just 24 hours. I mean, it was record-breaking, earth-shaking. $55 million in 24 hours, and Democrats point to polls indicating those same verdicts may erode support for Trump, who's held a consistent, albeit narrow, lead in the race for president for months now. Yeah. Reince Priebus calls the convictions for what they are, and he says it helps Trump in November because it unites people against the fraud of this prosecution. Here's what he said.
I'm like a lot of the folks out there that think that when Alvin Bragg decided and said to the people of New York that he's in the best situation to go after Donald Trump because he's done it over 100 times to his kids, and that was one of the bases for his election, I think he made it political. Joe Biden made it political by sending Robert De Niro down here into Manhattan. So the Biden has chosen to make it political. The district attorney chose to make it political. And what's happening? What's happening is we've got an unbelievable united party. $53 million came in the door. I spoke to the chairman of the RNC yesterday. I spoke to President Trump yesterday. And I asked him, I said, is there anything that you're seeing right now, other than the headache of this conviction, that isn't going well in this campaign? And the answer is that this campaign, and where the Republicans are situated today, with Donald Trump as their candidate, is better today than it's ever been at any time that he's ever run for president.
Better than it's ever been. Who's got it better than us? Nobody, says the Trump campaign. In the end, though, nobody knows quite yet if these politically motivated charges will swing the race away from Trump, or if just over 5 months from now, the economy, the border, and the endless folly of foreign wars will still power Trump to victory as the 47th president of the United States. Nobody's quite sure. Democrats banking on low-information voters, moving the needle in just 3 states. Listen to this.
Any other time, we could say pretty much for certain that if a nominee of a party was a convicted felon,
Yes.
they would be pushed out.
They would
by
face
their party.
enormous pressure to drop out of the race. The opposite has happened in this case because Trump is completely the dominant figure in the GOP, and he brooks no dissent whatsoever. We saw that again this week. But look, the fact is that being a felon is not good for a campaign. Let's just be straight about that, okay? It's not an asset. It's not helpful. It's not getting him folks he doesn't already have. Yes, Reince, it fires up his base, but it's not growing his vote. This is a margins election. It's going to be decided at the margins in 3 states, right. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. And I think anything that hurts Trump or hurts Biden slightly is significant. And this is definitely going to hurt Trump in those handful of states, especially with an important group of voters. Those who aren't following this that closely, and all they hear and all they absorb is the top line, convicted felon.
And he sounds like he could be right. It's on the margins. What's going to be most important? And I think that that's key. Are people going to remember this, or are they going to focus on what their groceries cost? What filling up the car at the gas station costs? By the way, Saudi Arabia continuing to keep oil production low through early next year at least, meaning oil prices will remain high, and so will gasoline here in the United States, which brings me to this. Everyone knows all of these cases are political, and it depends on where you are politically as to whether or not you are okay with it. It's not whether it's political, it's just whether you are okay with it. Why do Democrats who oppose asymmetric warfare not practice what they preach? Why do Democrats claim to hate war but love lawfare? Why do they want to level the playing field, the battlefield between, say, Israel and Hamas, so as to wound the Jewish state while disarming Americans and destroying the United States? Why do they refuse to cease firing on Donald Trump? You know why. Why indeed? Not content to prosecute Trump, Democrats want to persecute him instead. Facts be damned. Not content to have a jury convict him on 34 counts, Democrats want to condemn him instead. They want to destroy him because they fear him politically. They want him in prison. Not content to let the verdict speak for itself, Democrats want to silence and eliminate Donald Trump altogether. The Biden campaign spokespeople say they will end the threat of Donald Trump once and for all this year. Here's part of what they say. Listen.
This is not a normal election. Donald Trump has already demonstrated that he's not a normal candidate. He is a fundamental, persistent, and growing threat to our democracy, and Joe Biden is running to make sure that we end that threat once and for all.
End that threat, of political opposition. Discontent of this kind is not only unkind, but undemocratic. And while it is happening and Democrats are attacking their chief political rival, they claim it is he and his followers that are the threat to democracy. Oh, the irony. And really the arrogance, the hubris of it all. Now begins the summer of our discontent. Unless a Democrat of influence, a Democrat with power puts America first, which I don't expect, by the way. We don't need 100 or even 50 Democrats to stop this injustice. We don't even need a few. We need one. We need exactly one. The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, for example, has the power to act like a true small d Democrat. Hochul has the power to pardon Donald Trump from these ridiculous charges and has the power to stop the persecution of Trump in the Empire State, an empire, by the way, he helped to build over the last several decades. Hochul has the power to stop the war against Trump and his followers, but let me be clear, she won't. And if Hochul chooses not to restore Trump's rights, as I predict, if she chooses not to exercise wisdom and do what is right for her state and for America, if she commits an unpardonable wrong and refuses to pardon Donald Trump, she will confirm our suspicions that she is a hack, an accidental governor who is still unfit to govern. If Hochul chooses to wash her hands of this case and walk away, she will cause voters to flee in the opposite direction. She will inspire voters to oppose her more than they do right now. If Hochul chooses to pretend she is above politics, if she says justice is blind and Donald Trump is not above the law and resorts to rhetoric and calls Trump a criminal, she will confirm our fears from the start that she hates Trump more than she loves justice in this country. And doing the right thing is meaningless. If Hochul does not know what overkill is, perhaps another Democrat does. We'll see. A better Democrat does, as President John F. Kennedy once said clearly, because he quoted this: "Sometimes party loyalty asks too much." Now is such a time. I want you to think about that.